I'm back. I'm not sure what happened. And I think we lost most of it. That sucks. That sucks. Sorry, everyone. We are back. I don't know what just happened. Weird internet spike there. Super unfortunate.
Brain tunes it out really aggressively and you don't
Super
realize
lucky.
it anymore. You'll watch the footage back and be like, oh yeah, I guess that is popping in, but you don't really notice it. The weapons, there's a lot. Some of the end game stuff that we got to see, we had like a ghost spirit. I don't think it was a spear, it was like a halberd. That thing was awesome. There were weapons that had different move sets associated with them. It was very, very cool. There's a lot here. There's a lot. Yeah. Let's see. For the late game save, that you played? Oh yeah, that question about other characters. I did not, but other people did. Hey Luke, any word on New Game Plus? We're still working on stuff. We have stuff going on in the background. It's just there's a lot of ducks to get in a row for something like that. But yes, it's still rocking and rolling. We are working on stuff. Don't you worry. We have some exciting things we're working on. Hopefully they come together. Triple Galaxy, thank you for the 10. How is the weapon durability system? I'm stupid. I thought you meant the New Game Plus showcase that we started.
Rhea, I don't know what happened. Stream crash. Super unfortunate. Thanks for coming back. Sorry, guys. Looks like we're back on, but I really don't know what happened. And I've got like a gig of download, so I mean, it was weird. It was only my computer too, so it's not a good sign. Don't know what the deal is.
I realize you're asking about New Game Plus in Crimson Desert, which makes a lot more sense. That makes a lot more sense. You're probably thoroughly confused right now. Yeah, so as for New Game Plus in Crimson Desert, I did not hear an answer. I don't know if they have communicated that. I don't know.
Yeah, he doesn't know.
Durability system stream. He said that they're
You thought my internet crashed? Shoot, Michael. Well, hey, thanks for coming back. I don't know what the deal was. I hate internet crashes. That's so frustrating. When I lived in California, I had a really good internet. Like I had a gig download and upload, the async. That's nice internet. I miss that. I don't get that here.
I believe what he said was that
I'm back, Tensu. Thanks for coming back.
Weapons are not based on a durability system like Breath of the Wild or Zelda or anything. Instead, there are certain items that are bespoke to like certain story beats or quests and things, and they have specific number of uses, but regular combat is not dictated in that way. I believe that's what he said. I believe. Yeah. Let's see. And then Master Joe, thank you for the 2. They're a quick counter arc like Shadows of Mordor. Not arc. I can't read. ATK, attack. Quick counter attack. I believe with certain weapons. So certain really fast weapons, you could probably parry.
There is the quick counter attack. There's a skill. It's like the second level of the main attack ability. I think that's one of the key ones I'm going to get. Because I'm going to just be mashing R1. And then the second I see them charging theirs, I'm just going to be like R1 circle. Boom. Bounce out. And then I'll be good to go. But Rhea, Will said that your weapons do not break, but they will need to be repaired to be at maximum strength. Ooh, I've not heard that one. That's good. I thought that they had just no durability. That's cool.
And quickly respond. For the bigger ones, it's like parry, slows them, and then you start a combo or whatever. Is there a grapple like grabbing orcs in Shadow of War, or is there bosses like Air Trees avatars at specific POIs? There are bounties that move around the map dynamically, so there will be moments where like you'll find a poster on a post and it will be like, this guy has been spotted in the area. That bounty will actually physically move around the map, and so if you don't get him right then and there, he will move. He won't be there anymore, so you can't grab that bounty and
that is cool. So like every day the bounty might change. That's awesome.
Just leave and come back later. So there are dynamic bosses and quests like that, but maybe tied to this POI, but then they move somewhere else after an in-game hour or something like that. As for the Shadow of Mordor grapple, I'm assuming you mean the thing where like you grab him and then you're able to like stab quickly. There is a move like that. I don't think it plays the same way as Shadow of Mordor where like you hold him hostage as you move around. But there is a move where you grab.
Man, I loved Shadow of Mordor. So cool.
Go behind and stab, if that's what you mean. Yeah, I know there's wrestling/grappling moves, but I got to know if we're able to do those on random civilians in town.
Yes, you can. We've seen
That
it.
I genuinely don't know. I did not
We
try.
can.
I did not try that.
Ridiculous.
I think. So I'll have to ask about. Do they have weapons and loot available like Elden Ring? Have you seen a katana? I've not seen a katana, and they do have a lot of loot.
Ooh,
yeah, that's primarily how they get you to explore, is by having stuff. Abali, LOL, look it up. I think I know exactly what you're talking about, because I think I've seen that clip that you're referencing, actually. I'd be scared of pulling it up in case there's copyright, but I'm pretty sure I know exactly the clip you're talking about, because I've seen it too, and it's funny. Yeah. Might have missed you responding earlier, but are there armor set bonuses? I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. Is the audio good? Yeah, the audio was.
Have you guys seen anything about armor set bonuses? I'm assuming they do. Michael, I saw someone slam an NPC in his path. Yeah, they were just walking and then there's boom. Yeah, I think that's exactly the one I saw too. But what he's describing is the stealth. Yeah, I think he's talking about the grappling move where you could hold them hostage and then use them as like a body shield, like for arrows and stuff. Maybe he's talking about stealth. A katana would be dope. I think I saw like one in old footage from before 2024. Did you? That would be cool. I'm sure they will, right? Like what action game doesn't?
Very good. I didn't run into any problems. Motion capture and voice acting is also really solid from what I saw. Let's see the icon image. Thank you for the 2. Also asked how many buildings can you enter? Frankly, a lot of them. I did run into buildings that the door was locked and it said you need a key to enter, which might just mean that you can't enter. There is no key. It might also mean that there is a way to get in there, and it's tied to a quest that I haven't seen. So I don't know.
Have we heard?
Can you be stealthy?
Are there any lockpicking skills? I don't know if there is. Yeah, that's how stealth works too. You grab them and then you can stab them repeatedly. Okay, and then it doesn't alert the enemies around. Okay.
I did not have any quest lines that were tied to stealth. So, like, you can crouch. There was a quest outside of a cave where you could go up and sort of sneak around. You could do that to avoid a combat encounter. So I do think there will be times where being stealthy is helpful and benefits you. But at least in the first 4 hours, I did not see anything that was like a quest asking me to be stealthy. I didn't see anything like that. So maybe, but that's it. Let's see. I'm caught up there again. Sorry to the Twitch fam for the stream not working over there. Real almost caught.
Hey, he's having stream issues too. Even the big guys do it. Sorry, guys. No lockpicking as far as you know. Oh, that's sad. Armor set bonuses with each armor piece spread throughout the game for us to acquire would be fun and rewarding scavenger hunt. I would totally agree there. Totally. Oh, but Ria's saying yes, there is. That's good. That's cool. BDO didn't have it at least. Oh, BDO doesn't have it. That makes me think that they probably wouldn't. But if Ria's saying they do, I don't know.
Up on these. T-Bail, thank you for the 5. Are you able to lock on? How can you keep your direction on an enemy? Do you whiff a lot while attacking, or does it track? So there is a lock on. It doesn't work the way that most would work because R3 is already routed. I believe I forget the button combo, but there is a way to do it. It works way better than it did over the summer where I played it and had a lot of trouble with attacks whiffing and stuff. I don't know if I just got good or if they greatly improved it, but it felt way better at least. Yeah, you can whiff attacks, but once you get a feel for it and you direct them properly, it's not really a massive problem. Yeah. So yeah, 23 months. Oh baby, this is the first game since Cyberpunk 2077 that I'm excited for about having a 5090. But if this is on a 7900 XTX, realistically, how much more can be squeezed out? Like I said, there's a setting above ultra. So apparently there's a cinematic quality setting, which is above even ultra. And I don't think we've seen any footage of what that even looks like. So it's got to be insane.
I do any, like, you guys, I think Ghost Wolf, get me some good footage. You with the 50 series. I want some of that cinematic quality because I won't get it on my 3080. There's no way. But that is so cool. Ria, you heard two pre-viewers say that there is lockpicking. Okay, that's awesome. They broke into houses and picked chests. That's sweet. But I don't think it's a mini game. I think you just need a pick. Okay. That's a little bit sad. I do like lockpicking games, as long as they're different each time. They need to have some diversity to it.
That'd be really good, but time will tell. Total Malarkey, thank you for the 5. Luality referred to a cowboy next to her holding a cat and petting it. Since you said you were next to her, are you a cowboy? I am not a cowboy.
Fighting cowboy.
I'm assuming she probably means in the end game, because I wasn't right next to her in the end game. Next to, I think that's what it is. Fighting Cowboy, like the literal YouTuber named Fighting Cowboy. I think that's what it is. That's funny though. Dostroid, thank you for the 10. Very generous. Do you think the main character looks generic? I've heard people call him generic, but I don't think so. But
Jesus, he's just raking in money though during this one. This is crazy. All right, man, I need to get bigger because he's made like a couple $100 just by. I can't wait to be here. I'm gonna get it too. Michael, you're also on a 3080. I hope the game isn't cooked for me. I know. I'm right there with you. Yeah, we'll see. We will see. Rhea, I doubt they would say you need a key for a door and you couldn't actually get in. That wouldn't make sense. That's what I'm thinking too. I'm totally on that alignment. That'd be really interesting if they didn't have that.
to each their own. As a generic white guy myself, I think if you're a white dude with dark hair and a beard, people are going to call you generic. It's just how it works.
I'm generic, guys.
Okay? People say that I look very generic all the time. That's okay. Okay. I'm not worried about it. If you think he looks generic, that's too bad. I'd much rather him look generic than, end up with blue hair and a ponytail. Like I'd prefer this. Sometimes
I guess I got red hair. What do you guys think of my red hair? Is it ridiculous? You like it? What do you think?
like studios try too hard to make their characters look unique, and I don't think you need that. Sometimes being generic works for the average person. Make your character look like some sort of chemical experiment gone awry. Yeah, they'll be unique. They won't look generic anymore, but they may be harder for people to connect with, You know what I mean? Know what I mean? Like,
come on. Next.
Yeah, identity politics. I don't think it's even politics. A game because you think the character looks weird. That's a weird, especially bad reason not to play a game because play a game based on the desert, but the in a bush. Do something else. Be like, yeah, play as a metro salesman. That's okay. I'm okay with that. Williams, thank you for the 5. Do they have weapons and loot like Elden Ring? Oh yeah, like I answered that one. Yes, they have a lot of loot. Were you only constricted to the beginning section of the map, or could you go to Demonis or the Crimson Desert? You could go wherever you wanted. It was fully open. But like I said, the enemies in other areas are going to be more powerful. So if you go there before you have, imagine. So,
okay.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure that it was blocked off though. I think one of the other YouTubers said they weren't allowed to go in any of the other areas. So yeah, we'll see. Don't hate me, but I thought Geralt was generic. The white hair made him stand out. Yeah. I don't think Geralt. I don't think he looked that generic. I thought he was pretty cool. Red hair is awesome. Thanks, Michael. Red hair is cool. Thank you, Rhea. Red hair and green eyes is a perfect combo. Oh, I don't have green eyes though. I guess I do. They're technically hazel. I don't know if it shows in there, but sometimes they can go gray and blue though. I actually have a photo of my eyes, which is blue. Maybe one of these days I'll show you guys.
Well, I was doing like the main story.
Like I did one of those iris photos, which was really cool. I was actually thinking of starting that as a business here in Oxford, where I am right now.
Some of the questing and stuff, they were just running in one direction, which is absolutely valid. You can test games and preview games that way. I usually at preview events try though to play it the way I think the average gamer.
Hey Luke, this is John Wisniewski's mom. He's really upset that you don't think people play games to look like my in his characters.
I skipped that one. Not helpful.
I mostly play modern / story open world games on my PS5. It sounds like I'm going to turn it off to get the better visuals. Yeah, I think that's a safe bet. I think it's a safe bet. Like motion blur, it serves a purpose with lower refresh rate and lower frame rates. When
you guys like motion blur, or what do you guys think? I love it. I think it's good.
you get to higher refresh rates and higher frame rates, I just think no motion blur, dude. It feels like you're watching a stop motion picture. Doesn't work. Even film, 24 FPS movies, they have natural motion blur because of it's called the 180 degree whatever. Which yes, that means
please.
There can be any saves that you can select from or save to, and then there's auto saves and stuff. So it's not
saving
it's
system.
Not
we know that.
Heard from. Probably playing wrong. Mr. Fahrenheit, thank you for the 5. Do you know if loot is like Odyssey where you can find loot randomly in a chest, or is the loot like weapons in certain locations? I believe it's like the latter, but don't quote me on that for sure. I believe it's like the latter though, where it's probably dynamic for the NPCs and everything, but I believe there's specific things to be found in the world at certain locations where like a guide will be made and it's like, this is how you...
Yeah, there'll definitely be guides there for sure. Cliff seems to be more of the honest, straightforward kind of guy from what I've seen. Yep. If used correctly, I like it. Yeah, the thing is, like, what are the morals and ethics behind him? you know, and then that's a little subjective. And some people are trying to break from reality and not trying to be the good guy. But I actually love having like a proper hero in a story. That's something I value in a game. So I hope it's gonna be good. Oh, but most of the time you don't like it. You like it, yeah. In movies, works. In games, it can hurt the experiences. Yeah. Never had a time where it did that. Where it hurts the experience? I'd say there's some like very bland games I've played in the past where like they're okay, yes, they're good heroes, but it's like they're too dull or the storyline's written badly, and then trying to be a hero in that just kind of sucked. So I think that could happen. For a game that is first person, I always turn motion blur off. Yeah.
You find the best sword in Crimson Desert. And, you know, that's how you're going to do it. That's how you're going to do it. Yeah. Venby, thank you for the membership. Cameron, thank you for the 2. Also, the other 2 where you said, what was your favorite moment from the open world? I would say I really, in the end game save, there was a moment transitioning to the Sky Island that was quite cool. That was quite cool. So that stinks. One I don't have a recording of. How much can you carry? Not endlessly. The inventory system does require you to manage it a little bit.
But we get to unlock inventory slots every time we finish a side quest, basically. So that's definitely key to growing.
Certain items stack, so you can individual bug, but you will have to just be aware of it. You can. Oh, and thank you also for the membership, and for that $2 from Tyler. Does dynamic weather affect health like Tears of the Kingdom? I mentioned earlier, I wanted to see if you could try it with like, does lightning strikes, does it hit your sword if you have it equipped? I couldn't get in a thunderstorm with lightning to test it, so I don't know. As for will it affect temperature? Yes it will, which is a stat that they track. So for example, so you can see here in this snippet, it's actually tracking the day, the time of day, the weather, and the temperatures of the areas you're in, the lows and the high. So I imagine, I don't know this for sure, but it's going to track that and affect different things if you're in the snowy regions versus the desert. I don't know if that means you have to have different equipment applied in certain areas, if you have to have different armor or different clothing.
Ooh, I wonder if like temperature affects stamina. If you don't have the correct equipment on for this temperature range, maybe there's like temperature ranges, and if you're like heavily equipped in a hot region, you might burn through stamina faster. I bet you there's some really cool stuff that might min-max off that, if that's how it works, which I do hope that is, because that's a really secret kind of thing that hasn't been talked about. We will see.
Equipped in the highlands versus in the desert, I don't know, but they're tracking it for a reason. I don't know why else.
Oh, and Ria was saying that she really hates motion blur in first person. It heavily impacts performance. A motion blur slider is nice because some game motion blur is absurd. Oh yeah, that is true. There are some that are like, what is happening? It's so hard. Yeah, I definitely have turned it off on almost all like FPS games. The motion blur in Ark Survival is god awful. Yeah, if Squirrel's in here, I wonder if she turns it off or not. Michael, I'm definitely gonna put motion blur, depth of field, and screen shake to 0. Really? You like a close depth of field? I actually try to blow that depth of field to the max. I'm someone who always tries to go with the broadest. I like to be able to see everything around me. Definitely takes away a little bit of the immersion, but yeah.
They would track it and simulate it if they weren't going to use it, you know? So given all the other inspirations from Breath of the Wild, I would imagine that that's something that they are going to do something with, but I'm not sure. Thoughts on Crimson Desert's Collector's Edition? Is it worth the price? As far as I know, it's sold out everywhere. So even if it was worth the price, nobody can buy it. Yesterday, get it. So I did like head honchos. Maybe they'll do a second run or something. Thank you again, Caleb, for the very generous 20. Walter, thank you for the 5. Have they ever mentioned modding on PC? They've not really run into bugs, and you need to play it like Tears. Some people are going to be frustrated. That's other people that tried the game that struggled with puzzles. So even had a rougher time with those, so be aware of that. Performance-wise, it was rock solid. The left being very, very just to share with the automated voiceover that you can see the type of preview event we went to.
We saw
but
that
they were
earlier
giving access
today.
to the console version, and they said that on base PS5, console has a, and they've not shared. That's
Don't
what they're
need
saying.
performance.
Luke's telling us he's smarter than most streamers at game reviews. I'm saying I'm very good at a select few things. Okay.
Yeah, we're
with
skipping
bread,
that for sure.
I'd be screwed. Screwed. But yeah, I can follow a recipe, but you get what I mean.
That is true. Like I think most of the content creators we saw that died, like they just never ate food. And maybe that's just a very simple thing. If you eat food, you're gonna do fine.
I'm sometimes and overly easy, but I found out today when previews went up that other people disagreed. So Make of that what you. But I found out today, I thought the puzzles were pretty straightforward and overly easy, but I found out
That's
the
very
system,
interesting.
and it's going to make most people play footage I've seen. Like, their moveset is crazy. They're doing so good. Anyway, so I've been thoroughly impressed. I think, you know, this is
Okay.
definitely one to keep an eye
So we
on.
got-
It's reasonable to be.
Give him a like because it was a information. We did get some good tips out
Well,
of it.
everyone, the day has come.
I'm not gonna watch him again back to back though. We're gonna slide him back. Let's watch Chor Raptor. We'll see what he's done. I like to max field of view, but depth of field where it blurs everything out. Oh, I mixed that up. Yeah, depth of field. Okay, I'll have to set that to 0. Yeah. When depth of field is too high, it makes the backgrounds too blurry when focusing on NPCs. Yes. In real life, if I'm focusing on a person, I'm not going to blind the background. Yeah. Was there any mention if it'll have DLSS? Yes, I think it is. 100%. But what they're saying is everything's been native, and that's what's really cool about it, because you didn't need that. And I'm sure DLSS, because we're going to need that, right, Michael? We're definitely going to want that. I'm hoping they have it, or else that'll be rough, because streaming this is going to be tough. And Twitch already compresses it, so I don't know if it's going to look great on Twitch anyways, so we'll see how that looks.
With awesome cutscene.
Okay.
I played 6 hours of a new version of Crimson Desert.
Let's go.
and
A
damn,
proper
there's so much new
preview
stuff
video.
I want to show you in this video. There's a bounty system where you can go after criminals and have to put them behind bars. There was this secret boss in the open world I got
Ooh, I've not seen this boss yet. This one looks good.
the fight that gave me a very unique item. Unarmed combat is actually really powerful and fun, and I was overall really impressed by the amount of depth in the skill system. And yes, it's no joke how big the map is. So no time to waste, and thanks to Pearl Abyss for inviting me to the event and sponsoring the video. My play session started from the beginning of the game. You are immediately taking control of Cliff as his band of grey mains is attacked by an enemy clan called the Black Bears. As always, I will not spoil any story details, but expect a pretty cinematic 15-minute opening with awesome cutscenes, after which you are immediately introduced to the Abyss. You could argue that
Okay, I'm
The world of
gonna skip through some of this until it gets more open.
Crimson Desert has 2 layers, the regular combat-filled open world and these islands in the sky
Or
that
maybe
are
not.
full of puzzles, but also seem to play a pretty important role in the story. It is kinda weird that Cliff does not seem too impressed by all these over-the-top magical things that are going on in this medieval world. He remains pretty numb through it all. I really hope his personality grows over the course of the game, because it almost feels like he was a silent protagonist at first, which might have been the case as the game of course started as an MMORPG. But I would overall argue that these MMO roots are also the game's biggest strength, because it basically feels like they put 6 different
Oh, he's got the. So you see, he's got the archery dash move. I've been wanting to see this, and this is pretty cool. That like if we watch that again, like he's shooting dash, but it's really slow because he doesn't have the upgrades.
are also the game's biggest strength, because it
No,
basically
actually, it's not that slow. Like he was like boom, boom. That's pretty quick, but that's pretty cool. Yeah, you def want that. Yeah, we definitely want the upscaling. That'll be crazy useful. As long as the field of view doesn't mess with the camera, I max it out. Yep. I want at least 100 frames plus. Yeah, we'll see what we can get, right? As long as it hits a consistent 60, I'm happy. Honestly, like, I'm happy with like 40. Like, I don't even. I remember running on like such a terrible laptop because I just never had a good one, and I was playing League of Legends, which frames is like one of the most important things. And I managed to work my way up to platinum back in season 3, so I thought it was pretty cool. And then I worked up higher over time, but I don't know. I doubt you guys are League people. Anyways, I think Arcs also fought it. I did not see it in his video, but that's good to know. Yeah, you can make big loops around them. I love using the attack as a ranger in BDO. Yeah.
feels like they put 6 different classes into
Hey.
one single character. The skill menu in this game might be the best I've ever seen, because almost every single unlock gives you a brand new ability or move that you can use through a special button combination. Next to your light and heavy attacks, you can combine R1 with any of the face buttons for a spin attack, for example. You can also do a stab that you can charge. Unarmed combat has its own skill that, if you upgrade it, unlocks brand new combos and moves. So this on top of those other abilities that you can...
Okay, he looks like he's one of the people who actually tested out all of the different combat. That's really cool. Okay, our Arcs has multiple videos. Okay, I definitely need to check that out. And Rhea's saying she's definitely going to go for the longsword hand-to-hand build. Yeah.
Also use with your fist. This can fully be your playstyle if you want. Want to be an archer? Well, that seems certainly possible as well, as long as you have the arrows with really cool dodge attacks and other moves to push enemies away. I tried the drop kick, as there are certain moves that you can only do from the air, and everything I mentioned here is only from the blue section of the skill tree. There's also a more spirit-focused green tree that, for example, has this interesting focus move that lets you slow time and then push enemies away. Then there is the elemental red tree focused on your grapple hook and elemental enhancements. And the one element we did not know about yet, by the way, is called Vok, which lets you deploy basically smoke bombs with various skills. Oh, and those other two playable characters have a similarly sized skill tree that I sadly could not record, but that I did see. It's very impressive. There's no XP you earn to gain a new level, but by simply taking the time to kill a group of enemies, I was always rewarded with one Abyss artifact that I could then immediately invest in almost any skills.
Nice.
But you can also learn skills by observing enemies. During an early boss fight, the knight did his signature pump kick, and if you stand still, you can immediately steal
I wonder if his music's copyrighted. I need to turn him down. Sorry. I might still get hit by it, but whatever.
that move and use it against him. Some skills actually require you to observe an NPC before you can...
Oh, wow. He was actually fighting Matthias at night. That's very interesting.
unlock them, although these NPCs seem mostly linked to the main story. For most of the skills, it's optional, but it will save you an Abyss artifact. We have to wait and see how impactful that is though, because the Abyss artifacts seem pretty easy to come by. Now, one thing that is very lucrative early on is going after criminals. You will find notice boards and other places with wanted posters, and by inspecting them, a new quest will appear on your map, leading you towards the target.
Okay, but real quick, let's take a look at this. I still don't
Posters,
know
and by
if these are
inspecting
that
them, a new
lucrative.
quest will appear on your map.
5 silver coins. That's it. I guess 5 is pretty good. I guess I saw one earlier that was only 1 silver coin. I feel like that's like nothing.
Leading you towards the target. When they see you, they might run away, so then you have to tackle them and tie them up.
Oh,
and
get
then
her.
bring them back to the prison to put them behind bars. I was once minding my own business when someone stole money from me and quickly ran away. Now, luckily, I could tackle him and bring him to justice. But overall, this was a really fun random event, and I hope there are more like that. Because otherwise,
That's
the
awesome.
world seems pretty static. Most NPCs are just standing around in one location, and even during the night, there were still kids on the street. If you were like hoping for a living, breathing world, I sadly did not really get that feeling from these opening hours. Again, it really reminds me of an MMORPG. There are still...
We also got, I'm going to rush to unlock Damien. Michael, yeah? Damien's looking like your girl. All right. Rhea, I love controls that are emergent but context sensitive. Yeah, I 100% agree with that. Lol, that's pretty cool. I'm guessing you're referring to getting your stuff stolen. That's funny. I think the currency scales here like it would in an East Asian country. Not sure what that means.
quite a few characters asking for your attention.
All I know is that fish cost like 50 bronze coins. So 2 fish, and you can already get a silver coin. So I think that fish is going to be a good way to make money in this game.
Or letting you do small mini games with them, which were
like how 500 yen in Japan to someone who doesn't know the conversion would think that's a lot, but it's only really $3. Oh, okay, you're just saying the currency is, yeah.
quite fun, but it's not Red Dead Redemption 2 or Ghost of Yotei levels of interaction. Now, you can greet almost everyone you meet though, or pet different animals, which is of course fun. It also gives you +5 trust, which is linked to the crime system that right now I struggle to see the point of engaging with, at least early in the game. So from completing my first bounty, I got a mask that doesn't only look very cool, but it's also needed in order to steal things. Otherwise, you will see the prompt, but cannot interact with the items. If you just steal something when nobody sees it, there's really no problem. But you can also threaten NPCs or attack town guards, and really the moment you do that, the whole town will be after you.
See, but here's exactly 1 kill, and he's already at 123 silver. You know, it gets expensive very quickly.
These were super high level enemies, at least I was unable to take them out at this point, so I would just die and then be sent to the prison where you lose a ton of money based on your actions. I, in one case, lost 300 silver, and to put that into perspective, I'd only found around 20 silver during these early
there we
hours.
go.
So yes, it's really awesome that it's possible to be the bad guy, but so far I struggle to see why you would do that. Maybe there are better rewards later in the game. No, it's way better to stay on the...
See, and that's why, once again, it really pushes you to be a good person, and I actually really appreciate that. Rhea, I really like the way they did this. Yep, that's awesome. And we got EC. Dang, that was realistic good. Yes. Is this your first time seeing Crimson Desert? Or what do you just don't get surrounded by the group? Smiley face. Yeah, that's also true. You gotta just avoid the groups. I think that's also something that we saw from a couple other content creators. They would just jump into a giant mob of people and just get mugged. And it's just like, hey, maybe fight on the outskirt, try and isolate a couple of them, use your stamina properly. They would also just use all their stamina, be stamina out, they can't dash out, and then they die. So I think that you got to use your stamina properly. I just had seen it a bit ago. Nice. Yeah, no, it's looking really
right
good.
Side of justice. Turning in criminals also gives you a special faction currency that you can exchange in a dedicated faction.
Ooh. That's what this faction shop is. That's what I didn't know what those
Turning
coins
in
were.
criminals also gives you a special
So that's what they are.
faction currency that you can exchange in a dedicated.
Okay, so then you can buy these for the currency there. Nice. And so there we have refinement. I was wondering, like, because I was looking at armor earlier, and some of these had refinement, but they weren't, like, really strong. And so I'm guessing that's just what makes these naturally where they are. But what is this barding? I wonder if he shows more of this.
Shop. This shop included very cool armor sets, a really strong banners.
Whoa, look at this attack. 27.
Spear, horse armor for your mount, and yes, your mount can actually level up in this game, unlocking new...
What? I've not heard... What? Mounts can level up? Okay, I need to write that down. That's cool.
moves like a kick to...
Wait, no, go back. I want to see what the skills
your
are.
mount can actually level up in this game.
So we have dash. Okay. Drift. Oh, yeah, we've seen drift. Back kick. Okay, that's what he's about to talk about in a sec. That's pretty cool. Then we have sprint, so you move very fast, and swimming 3 can move faster. Okay, that's not too cool, but okay.
Unlocking new moves like a kick to push enemies away.
Nice.
There should be more of these faction shops. The map had a tab that revealed area.
I'm scared of horses, by the way. I will not go around a horse. I'm not trying to get kicked by a horse. Not today. Rhea, strategy in combat seems to be key. Yes, it does.
As occupied by each faction, so doing missions in those areas should help you rank up loyalty. To get to this faction shop, I had to change
Wait, I want to see that. I don't think I've seen this map. This map's new to me.
more of these faction shops. The map had a tab that revealed
Ooh, this is juicy. I have not seen this map yet.
areas occupied by each faction. So
I was wondering how there were so many factions, right? There was like 110 or something.
doing missions in those areas.
And this really gives you a better breakdown of how big this map is. I think this really breaks down where everything is. Look at look at Crimson Desert here. You can see a lot of emptiness, right? I imagine that that's where there's not many NPCs, but then you have these little isolated blotches. That's probably where we're going to have small villages and stuff. But yeah, Rhea's saying that the strategy's key, just like in Red Dead and Zelda. The swimming is mad cool, because in most games, your horse will not swim. Very true. That is cool.
Should help you rank up loyalty. To get to this faction shop, I had to
That's
change
so cool.
my outfit to get past the guards. So your equipment can grant you access to new locations, or you can just use your powers to launch yourself across the wall. Crimson Desert shines when you are exploring its sandbox and deciding what to do next. At one point, I found a quarry filled with enemies.
What?
You're often fighting enormous groups of enemies, by the way, which a big change of pace from other open world titles. Now, luckily, you don't have to
Like that's a lot of bodies he was fighting there.
them all to liberate an area, but it does mean you can get easily overwhelmed. This quarry was also home to a secret driller boss. I love how Crimson Desert's medieval fantasy setting also includes very advanced technology, making encounters like this possible. Shooting arrows was totally the best approach for this boss, as when I got close, it would do a drill attack that would often insta-kill me.
Whoa,
Luckily, I
yeah.
had items that could revive me on the spot so I could keep going, and in the end I was successful. And what is cool is that I got one of the drill arms as a reward, which you can use in combat to brutally damage enemies, but also to mine ores instead of using a pickaxe. It really seems that every boss has
That is
some
cool.
sort of unique reward
That is really cool.
that makes them worth doing. I do hope the puzzles do not get in the way of this fun though. During early main missions, there are already puzzles that can be very hard to understand because they don't properly explain mechanics or rely on trial and error solutions. They also require you to use abilities that you might have forgotten about or never used in this instance, and it costs spirit, which slowly regenerates over time, so you cannot spam it to complete the puzzle. The game does have a very clever focus system that lets you target your jump or the item or NPC.
Yeah, I actually, the more I'm thinking about this target system is actually really good for like people who are bad at platformers and bad at this very, tedious kind of moves. I think that'll be really good to see. Michael, the Trader's Expanse. I wonder what's there. Hidden markets? Ooh. Yeah, Michael's looking at that map now. Yeah.
You want to interact with, but this did not always work either. That meant simple actions like picking up items or completing objectives became kind of frustrating. I think these issues can really stop Crimson Desert from becoming a game that will be loved by many. Right now it feels like something
Yeah, I mean, he's pointed out the tough spot. I like that he's being honest about that.
you have to accept in order to get to the good stuff. Because in these 6 hours I already encountered a ton of awesome stuff, and it feels like I barely scratched the surface of what the game has to offer. If you have questions, drop them in the comments. I will answer them in a Q&A video that I will do very soon on the React channel. Also in the pinned comment you find a link to get more information on the game and for my deluxe edition giveaway. Subscribe, leave a like, I will have way more Crimson Desert content coming your way, and goodbye.
Nice. That was a good video. I like that video. I like his setup. I like the way he did that. That was good. That was really good. All right, we got Luality. I think that's the last one. Oh, no, then we got Luke again.
To talk about Crimson Desert. I got
All right.
invited.
Rhea, and people are afraid these mechanics and systems won't intertwine. Well, as we can clearly see, they do. Yep, 100%. I kind of love that there's no hand-holding. I'm not a fan of hints, paint, or highlights. I agree. I do agree, Michael. I love the feeling when you get something on your own, and it was difficult, and it took you a couple of times, and you might have died to do it. That's when it feels great. I mean, I still, do you guys remember the first game you beat? You ever finished? You 100% completed. You didn't need your parents to help you. What was the game? Write it down. I'm really curious. My first one was a game called Toy Story 2. All right, I played Toy Story 2, and it was the first game I beat without any help, and it felt so cool to beat that game. And then I still remember it, and it still feels so good to me. It was like some achievement. And then I beat a proper JRPG, The Legend of Dragoon, and that felt just incredible. A really good game. It took me 60 hours, and that felt so cool. What do we got? People answering? Rhea, same. I can't stand most games today. Just hold your hand through everything. Yep. Don't mess with my sense of wonder. And Devil May Cry 1 was Rhea Summers' first game. Yeah, that is... I remember beating Devil May Cry also, and it was really good. Really, really good. I needed my brother's help to get that one, though, because that was tough. And my first time playing it was on Dante Must Die. My brother's save. Oh, no. Did you ever overwrite your brother's stuff or your family? I overwrote one of my mom's games once, and she was 40 hours in or something. Oh, she was so mad when she found out that I overwrote it. She only had 12 or even less than that save files on a PS1 memory chip. Rough time. Probably Elden Ring for you. Michael, how old are you? Or you mean Dark Souls? Okay, I was Elden Ring is that's very recent, dude. But no, that's good. First game I ever beat. Yeah. And then Geeky Boy, welcome. Twin Sums Odyssey. I have not heard that. And we got a Legend of Dragoon fan in here. Yes! Greatest game of all time. I don't know if you saw, there was always some rumors that there'd be a remaster or at least a remake made by I can't remember the name. Blue Origin? Not Blue Origin. The studio that Sony just shut down. There was rumors that they were going to make a remaster. It was like next on their list after whatever they were working, like Bloodborne 2 or whatever. And I was praying for it. But Twin Suns Odyssey, I've not heard that one. Okay. That one, 1997. All right, it's old. It's old in there. I don't know this one, but that's cool. Congrats. It just feels good to beat these games, right? What else we got? Yeah, he told me I could only play from his latest save, which just so happened to be the beginning of Dante Must Die, which is notoriously hard. I didn't even know the hardest mode. I just thought I sucked. Oh, that's awesome. Lavitz was a bro. Gosh, I've never felt a game that just managed. Actually, no. I would say Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core also put me in a small depression when one of the characters dies. But yeah, Lavitz. Blue Point, thank you. Yeah, Blue Point. They said they were going to try and do it. I'm just so sad. Like, if I had the money, I'd make that game immediately. You know what? I actually want to show you something, if I can find it quickly. Life. I don't know where to find it, actually. We're not gonna look at it right now. But I've been working on a game myself, and I got a game design document, and I literally have dragoons in it, like more modern version, at least my variation of it, and I think they look really cool. Anyways, Time Crisis, that's a good game. That was a good game. I begged my parents for like a year to get me one of those controllers. I was like, I want to play with a gun. Like, give me a gun. And they're like, no, we're not getting you a gun game. That's crazy. But then eventually they caved. I think they were actually lying to me. It probably wasn't a year. It's probably like a few months. And they're like, no, we're not going to get it. And they're like, all right, put it on the Christmas list. We're going to get it from Santa's going to get him a gun. It'll be Crisis Core. But what else? Bujo, you on PS5? No, I'm going to be on PC. I'll be playing it on that. You want the suffering to come back. Yes. I don't know if you like remember like Spyro, like even like playing Spyro as a kid could be like really difficult. And it was like, you'd want to bang your head against the door, or like Crash Bandicoot, some of those old PS1 games. I think we got a lot of PS1 generation here, which is good to hear. But those games were insane. And Rhea Summers like, Michael's calling out Rhea Summers. Love it. Okay, back into this.
For an event, I did not get paid to go to this place. They just invited, hey, you want to come play the game? I was like, yeah, sure, why not? So what?
So she wasn't paid to go? They didn't pay for their flights? That's unfortunate.
What is Crimson Desert? Well, the more that I played the game, the more I was like confused, and I felt like I needed to play it more to be able to tell you this.
Interesting.
So overall, I like the game. But you need to make sure that your expectations from this game are aligned with what the game wants to provide you. If you're looking for an intense storytelling, something like, I don't know, Witcher, Expedition 33, I'm not sure if you're gonna get that from this game. But if you're into exploring worlds and finding out a bunch of cool stuff and, maybe building a settlement, setting a village on fire on top of a dragon...
Wait, I missed this. Rhea, you're saying, The Suffering was a game. Okay, I never played that one. Ties That Bind. I never heard that. I want The Suffering to come out. I thought you wanted it to be hard and struggle. In Manhunt, I don't know that one either. Sohad. Or Sohazed.
And stuff like that. Maybe this game is for you. Because there's a lot of exploring, and the world seems very rich with lots of things you can do. Maybe a little bit of GTA, Breath of the Wild, and Where Winds Meet. It's more rooted in realistic and medieval system while having a lot of magic and fantastical things. What are my first impressions of Crimson Desert? It was fun, it was intriguing, it was interesting, but at the same time it was very different. There were things that I had trouble with, for example, the controls. They were a little bit overwhelming, but it could also be given the environment I was. But at the same time, I also found myself being very curious about what I could find in that world, and where after I played it for the first time, and I don't really know any game that's exactly like this. It's kind of like a single player RPG. Happy that a company like that is trying to try and make games that are my bread and butter. I'm intrigued. So far, I would say I have a positive first impression of it, and it was a good time. Like,
How big is she, by the way? I think she has 250,000 subscribers. It's pretty big.
as closely with the main story of the
Way
game.
bigger than me, right? Like, I shouldn't even, like, congrats. You're huge. 250 is still crazy.
But the dialogue was okay. Sometimes there was some over explanation of dialogue, but the overall setting was fine. You start like trying to be either a good guy, but you can also be a bad person, which makes it up to you. There is some cool stuff, like for example, the way that you learn things that you can do. You might come across something in the world that requires you to dig, but it could be that
Yeah, like, people are really struggling to see the observe in this bottom right. Like, that's all you gotta do. Press L1, you'll be able to see everything you need to see. But what do we got? Michael, I want a gamer's game with no hand holdings at all. We're all grown up, and this game is for a mature audience. Let us solve it by ourselves. Yeah, I mean, you know, maybe that's where the shift changed. Like, there was like these old games that were actually targeted towards like hardcore gamers that were difficult to do, and those players were the nerds, the geeks of society. And then once they started figuring out, hey, we can sell a lot more copies if we make the games easier and simple, then we're going to make a lot more money. And then that's when they started making games that targeted casual gamers, and they became more successful, and there's more money there for sure. You never played Manhunt from Rockstar Games. No, I didn't. No. You missed out. Those games were sick. Ria's like, I'm going to unsubscribe from you. This is ridiculous. You don't know these games. I'm so sad. Geeky Boy, I pre-ordered Crimson Desert yesterday in PS5. I think for them to make this game with so many mechanics, with not much story, doesn't make sense. Surely there is a small story. Yes, there is. Yeah. There's definitely a story. But I mean, I like it. I mean, you got like two major tropes. One is just you're trying to recover all of your people, and then, politically grow your faction. And then you have the world like ending scenario where the abyss, and we're like the chosen one. I think good tropes, and we'll be able to build off it. Who knows? But Zoha said, early Rockstar classic. And then Geeky Boy, maybe they didn't show much of the story. Yeah. So it's loving it. Lol, people have TikTok brain. They don't want to pay attention. Yeah, that's the fact. That's the fact.
you don't know how to dig yet. But then if you go to a place like a farm and you see somebody like using a shovel, you can observe how they do that, and then you can do that. So basically that goes for punches. In fact, interacting in this game is a little bit more complex than in a lot of other games. I had to press like a button when facing a person, and then you could see the options that you could do with that person. So you can't just like press E and interact and you do something. So you would have like a list of options, and depending on what you're interacting with, that list could be bigger or smaller. That goes from things like talking, trading, stabbing them. You can pet dogs. You can to try to feed a dog. If you go in your inventory, you can actually grab stuff and put it in your hands, and your character just holds it in front, just something. And it kind of felt like the dog was reacting to what I was holding to it. I was holding an apple. When I tried to drop the item, the dog wouldn't do anything. I brought some raw meat, and then I cooked this raw meat, and I dropped the raw meat in front of the dog. And ta-da! The dog ate it. Even though the game didn't actually indicate that that was something I could do, I thought it was really cool that I could feed the dog.
Okay, that's cool.
You could actually make friends with certain animals. So, for example, if you...
But I'm not seeing its trust level go up. I would expect there to be some serious trust level going up, right?
Pat a dog, or if you feed a dog or a cat during multiple days...
Oh, it did. Oh, there we go. Plus 20. There we go. Okay, so yes. Yes. I'm going to just make a shit ton of meat. We're going to get a plump fox. I'm going to pet it. I'm going to feed it. It's going to love me.
You unlock like their benefits.
What else we got here? I think the story's going to be really messed up. Something that gives me the feels. Hey, I hope it does. You know, I really do hope that. Geeky Boy, yeah, I agree. I'm hyped and excited. Rhea, like Red Dead, you can use the trigger to target and show interactions. Yep. Like Zelda, I swear, the same thing as Zelda. You can feed dogs.
I think they can follow you around and help you collect items. So I went and I got like.
Wait.
I
What's
think
this?
they can follow you around and help you.
Okay, so here we get recipes. Wow. Just a recipe costs 1.85 silver. That's crazy. Can you scoot? I want to see the other things over here.
Collect items. So I went and I got like cooked food,
Cook food?
like in a tavern, and the dog didn't want that. And so I went back, grabbed more raw meat, and I decided to, instead of dropping on the floor, to throw it to see if the dog would fetch it. The dog did not react at all, except 3 seconds later, a dog came from across town, from nowhere, and just grabbed the meat and ate it. It was actually kind of funny because, it was very unexpected. I didn't even see that other dog. The little that I could interact with the game, I could find.
That's really funny. That's really, really good. It's awesome to see how people interact with the game differently. It's a sandbox. That's exactly what we want to see. That's so cool. And Michael, yeah, you're literally mentioning that right now, right? It's so cool that Luality was experimenting with different things and found out the new things that we didn't know. Like, yeah, I probably wouldn't have spent too much time trying to feed a dog, honestly. I have a feeling there'll be a lot of hidden things that we have to experiment with. I'm excited. Yes. And then, Rhea, I skipped over you. You can feed the horses, foxes, and other animals, too. If you feed dogs in Zelda, they'll follow you or lead you to treasure. Ooh. Maybe that'll happen here. It's cool that Luality... Yeah, okay, we read that.
Some things, but there's probably a lot more to dive in. The game also has a lot of puzzles. The puzzles, they have no guidance whatsoever. And some people will love it and some people will hate that. But for example, if you go to a place, you need to pay attention to things that are missing. Oh, there's a light that's
I'm gonna skip
for
through the
example,
puzzle.
that others shoot for forward. When it comes like to puzzles, you can use your lantern and things can shine. Certain things can shine, so you can see that there is something to be solved there. But the game is not obvious at all in how you should accomplish things. You can accidentally slap people and then you're going to become wanted in a town, and that's probably not something you will be doing very early in the game because the guards are quite strong and it will kind of feel like the whole town is coming to beat you up. But it's definitely something that you can probably explore later in the game, especially because as you
Luality went, I'm sorry. Here, let me greet you. That's funny. I'd do the same, honestly.
progress through the game, your character, I feel like you start feeling like as a one-person army. And when I say your character, I need you to keep in mind that you can actually play as 3 different people in the game. I'm not exactly how, except I think it's through the main story. As you progress the main story, you can unlock 2 different characters. One is a girl and the other is, he kind of looks like an orc or something. Those other characters, they have different weapons. The girl, he has
we're skipping.
sword, and controlling them feels a little bit different as well. I felt like it was better. You can either summon them to you or you can leave them in different areas of the world and you can just teleport to that area as somebody else. I'm not sure how you can use that, but it felt to me like you could use that for some different areas of the world, and you can just teleport to that area as somebody else. I'm not sure how you.
Oh, I'm thinking there could be a bug here that we could exploit. Being able to teleport with the characters from one region to another. Because, and this is what like I did in Skull and Bones when it initially launched. You could swap servers in one way, and then you could kind of teleport locations, and I got a lot of gold off of that. And I wonder if they have thought of all those different solutions. Because if, like, let's say the prices are different for apples in the Frost region compared to this other region, and you can just take your inventory and teleport to a different location, then sell the apples, like, instantly, might be a huge way. I'm sure the developers have thought most of the situations out, but we'll see. Rhea, I'm telling you, this is like Breath of the Wild meets Red Dead and Dragon's Dogma 2 and Shadow of War with beautiful graphics, with almost Ninja Gaiden-like combat. It's very Ninja Gaiden-like, almost. Heard other previewers say that they will follow you everywhere too and fight with you.
You can use that.
Nice.
But it felt to me like you could use that for something. While in the beginning of the game, I did kind of like simple tasks. there was a lot of little quests, like for example, give money to the beggar. I could play rock, paper, scissors with the kids. I could help a lady that was tied down in the sewers for some reason. I could help a kid rescue their cat from the ceiling because the cat was stuck there. I saw a man fall from a roof, literally roll down from the roof, and his wife screaming at him.
Yep.
So you can basically
Seen it.
greet any citizen in the settlement, in the town, and they can start liking you more. I don't know what's the benefit of getting the people to actually like you more or less and what that does, but it seems like they're
Oh, that's another video that someone will do. It might be me if I have time. I made every citizen in this game love me. Let's see if we can do it. That'll take a lot of time, greeting and feeding the entire continent.
will be consequences to being liked or disliked.
And then we got Soha Zed. It's going with the GTA style with characters. I think only Cliff. I don't know what the GTA style with characters means. I think Cliff can only call them. Yes, the camera zooms out to the sky and zooms back in.
I know for the animals, the dog and the cats, they can follow you around and collect stuff, but I'm not sure for people. But also, later in the game, I got to ride a dragon. While I couldn't go with the dragon in town, you are not allowed to take those in town, but you can still go like to farms and stuff. So of course, I took a dragon, I flew above a farm, I set fire to the fields, I set fire to the house, and I was like so happy. And the game warned me that I was wanted, and I was not afraid of that. I thought it was kind of cool. I accidentally pressed the wrong button. I jumped off my dragon and I fell to my death.
Yep,
fun.
there we
That
go.
was a really good time. I would describe the combat of this game kind of like a mix of maybe Nier Automata and Monster Hunter. I don't know. It felt like the parry window was very forgiving. I'll be honest with you guys, I didn't really try dodging too much. I fought a boss, but when I played this game at PAX, in this particular playthrough, I was too busy with my dragon setting fire on random farms to actually worry about the boss fight. But attacking and parrying felt good. I also felt like my movement speed was very slow. I kind of like
Because you need to ride your horse, right? That's going to be a lot. Laugh my ass off. Lol. Like in GTA 5, you'll switch from Michael to Trevor. Ah, okay. Gotcha.
wish my character moved faster. And I feel like this speed thing is a problem that I had multiple times in the game. I also felt like certain things were faster. You can go up and down elevators, and while the view is stunning, and basically everything you see you can go, it felt like I was going up an elevator for like 5 minutes. Like going fast enough, but that's mostly it. The controls, I feel like they maybe like too much to be using a controller. But with the controller, whenever you have like a grab, there's also if you hold
Skipping over
out
the
to your correct
controls.
automatically goes to the weapon because I was just pressing the wrong things because I wanted to do something else. This game definitely feels like there's a learning curve, but it definitely feels a little bit convoluted at the start. Also, this is something that this will probably you'll have like more time to digest when it comes like to the controls, but it kind of feels a little bit kind of like in fighting games how you can have like combos. So to use different magics, you press and ability. I'll be straightforward with you guys. At least a little of the story that I played, I did not find it engaging. It just felt to me more like the story was an excuse to explain.
Okay.
Kind of like number. I guess the best way I could describe this is like if everyone has a lot of Botox. but that's about it. I also was like
I actually did point that out yesterday too. Like some of the face just doesn't quite look great.
The world to me seemed like a lot more interesting. Tried to jump off the bridge with my horse. It didn't work, so I left the horse. I jumped off the bridge and see what was down there and what would happen. So I started collecting a bunch of random animals. So you can collect most animals and you can either release them
this is what
or
I wanted.
I guess make food from them. And maybe you can even sell them to NPCs later. And then I made my way. I crawled back to where I jumped off the bridge and I kept following the guy. He didn't really care that I jumped off the bridge, so it was kind of nice. And then we just kept going. Just for the sake of transparency, I need you guys to understand that the version when we play games and events like this is not the release build. encounter bugs in the progression of level, and then the only solution would be reloading an earlier save file. So one of the things that really stood out to me was definitely the world. The world was very pretty. It felt like it had a lot of depth, that I could do a lot with it. You can basically go into any direction, and there was like stuff in any direction that you go. And I even found like a
that's
mini
cool.
castle.
That's actually cool. I've not seen that. Have you guys seen this castle? That's pretty cool. What do we got in here? I feel like it's confusing for folks because they have gotten used to games being so simple in design. Yeah.
We had like some of the devs from Black Desert Online just assisting with the event, and some of them say that they hadn't seen that before and things like that, and it happened like quite
what was this? A hidden piece of treasure map?
a number of times. And the people around me, they were also like,
ooh, this is nifty. This is nifty. Okay, I like these. Like playing Hogwarts Legacy when you had these. I'm taking a screenshot of that right now. But that's pretty cool.
Finding things and sharing things. Like when Cowboy, he was sitting by my side, he found a cat and he was holding the cat. I was like, oh my god, it's so cute. But because I was being a brute and I was kind of like attacking random people when I came in the game, the cat kind of like had run away. but later I found the cat and I got to hold the cat, so that was good. There's no area, there's a desert, there's forest, there is like so many.
She's a good storyteller though, right? She's just like, I played the game. This was crazy. This is what happened.
Many things, and especially when you're like, you have like those islands on the top of the world. It's called, I think, the Abyss. That dimension is kind of like, you have a lot of puzzles. It's huge. And I can't imagine how much you can do. There's like a bunch of random things, or you can literally just walk around the world, and if you hear like people talking about, oh, there's a problem in this place, you can just go to that place and try to investigate it. So there's a bunch of like seeded things for you to find. So to me, that's really cool. And I hope to dive in the game and find more cool stuff. Like there was a kid who was very sad because the bandits had stolen.
Yep.
I don't walk with Wooly and people, and it was kind of funny. And then when I got Wooly back, it apparently wasn't Wooly, but the kid was happy anyways. And there was a lot. And that was to me the highlights of the game, how you can interact with the world. So should you buy whatsoever you buy the game or not?
Good side quest.
The best,
yep.
An RPG with like tough choices and very immersive storytelling. The game for you. Items, building stuff. More people will react to this because there's a lot of expectations for this game.
Wait, what did she say?
If you're into MMOs, but you don't really care for the social part of MMOs, but more like going around the world and seeing stuff, this is probably a game for you. I'm honestly curious how people will react to this, because there's a lot of expectations for this game, and the game does have a lot to it, but at the same time, the game, it's its own thing.
We'll get it. We got it.
So kind of.
It's gonna be a great game. I'm still so pumped for this. It's looking good. I'm still excited.
Expecting to get from this game. I hope that that's my ultimate goal. That if you do find that the things I told you and talked about made the game feel interesting to you, to me, that's the goal. And I hope I could help you somewhat into figuring it out. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye. Okay, next. All right, so we also had a couple comments. I feel like it's confusing. No, we already read that one. Michael, the scenes with the weather look amazing. I'm gonna be a storm chaser in game. Yes, honestly, I was just about to say, like, the first scene when you have the wind and you have like all the leaves and those kind of visual effects, you don't see that too much. I haven't seen it that much in any of the other gameplay they have. Obviously, they were like in that region. There was the rain. We saw a little bit of rain. But I'm assuming that's going to be a lot cooler when we go to locations like the snow area and like we have snow, like a blizzard come in and we're fighting the snow horn. Like, I think that's going to be really cool, where the weather will look really good. Rhea Summers, almost every other game used clicks left stick to sprint. Most melee-focused games even transition to the bumpers and triggers for attacks instead of face buttons. Most games have a dedicated lock on now using the right stick. Yep, most have simple combo strings and simple flow when it comes to open world games. Yeah, and you know, in my video, I've already kind of written out the beginning of my script for this like tips video I'm about to drop, and it's literally like, hey, you have to think that this is your first game you're playing again, and try and learn what the devs have set it up for, because they didn't just choose these button combinations. They have tested and they're figuring out that This is what is best to train you so that late game you can actually use all of the combos and all of the skills at a proper level. And I think that that's why it's so important for us to just come in with open mind, learn from the beginning, and just be like, hey, I'm a newbie. It's okay to be a newbie. It's okay to be bad at a game at the start. And I hope people can do that. Here we go with Luke Stevens.
I played over 6 hours of Crimson Desert at a preview event in Los Angeles, and today I get to tell you all about it. Long story short, early last week, we flew out to Los Angeles.
Okay, we don't need the story.
There's probably a couple of reasons for that we'll get to in a minute, but all of the footage you'll be seeing in this video is from simply, I am thoroughly impressed with Crimson Desert. Is it perfect? No. I did run into a few bugs in the endgame save file, which would be frustrating. Experience 80 frames per second for the full cutscene. That one person that was sat next to me did have two different. Do you believe that or not? Whether you accept that explanation or not, is everything it appeared to be in the trailers. It is insane. It is massive, but it is also not going to be for everybody. If you're still holding out hope, way. This really is one of those games that you will either think is a generational 10 out of 10 as far as I can tell, or you're just not gonna get it. You're gonna be like, I don't know why people like this so much. And that is
totally true. That is the best description, because there's gonna be like, what, this game is like too complicated. It's too, I don't know how to enjoy it. I don't know how to have fun with it. It's gonna happen. Michael, you 100% agree. Awesome. Reed Summers, exactly. It reminds me of people playing the new Zeldas for the first time. They end up struggling a lot, and those don't even have complex controls. Yeah. Well, we're going to see. I mean, you know what's crazy is, like, Hogwarts Legacy actually had quite a bit of button inputs, but they had the perfect on-ramp, and because of the IP, it just attract casual gamers that never played games before. And I think, like, for casual gamers, that game is at the peak of my mind of, like, a game that can convert, like, non-gamers to like gaming. And I'm hoping that, you know, Crimson Desert could be that. Seems like the onboarding is a little bit rough, though. Rhea, King, it's definitely going to be a 10 out of 10 for me. Hey, yeah, there we go. And then Rhea, I saw streamers getting destroyed by the first enemies. People are too used to hand-holding.
Is okay, just like Breath of the Wild, just like other games that are fantastic, like Tears of the Kingdom or Red Dead 2 or something. There's games that some people love dearly and other people just don't get it, and that's okay. But that's why I'm telling you, if you discovered a gameplay system by watching one of the devs, and it's something that has not been made public, but that I think is absolutely crazy. So I'm going to tell you about that as well in this video, because it made me think of Breath of the Wild instantly. So buckle up, we're going to go through a lot of it. I have 4 hours of gameplay footage. I can't just release all the B-roll. They asked that we edit it and cut it up. So
I was about to say, who is it, Bruce? Who was it that we watched that literally went through the whole thing? Or if we go back on here. No, it's Bruce. It's definitely Bruce. Like, he just reacted to his own footage. I was kind of surprised he was able to do that.
So I'm going to go through all of the big, important bullet points of my time with the game, even getting down to specifics of the combat controls, how individual boss fights work, and all of that stuff. But don't worry, I will not get into spoilers for obvious. Our sponsor, Travel Trip.
Sponsor.
And free.
Congrats.
Come out today. Links in the description box. And I'm going to be honest, I didn't have a single stutter. I didn't have a single dip. I didn't have any sections of the game where it's like, oh, you walk in this building and it drops to 30. Nothing like that. It was locked solid for me the whole time.
We don't need performance.
Uncompressed 4K rendering. Optimization. It seems like they've had issues. I didn't run in from a checkpoint to just try and reset it. The devs,
I think we're good with puzzles.
They ran right past and started doing the puzzle. And intended, and that they mentioned that they would be checking out to make sure that there was like a state for that to not happen. Where basically if you fell off before the checkpoint, it would reset.
Yeah, he talked about that.
Oversights, little things where you can tell that something is just not working the way.
Sorry if I'm skipping across this too much, guys. I know that I'm just clicking on. We watched an hour and a half of his live stream where he covered most of this, so it'll be a quick one. I'm just kind of cycling through, but he's right. Red Dead Redemption 2 is amazing. Some people hate it, the slow pace and controls. Some people hate the realism. I personally love it.
that you thought it would, you know? And to be clear, this is something we've seen with a lot of games. For example, Baldur's Gate 3, famously, when it launched as a masterpiece game of the generation, that game had a super hella broken Act 3. Like, if you did not play Act 3, people be buggy and broke. That word, to be clear, not optimization issue. Save. I personally don't expect it to be a massive deal, and I did run into problems like that in the end game specifically, which could be anywhere from 60 to 70 hours in. But overall, the game runs really, really well. I do think there's something happening.
He's still in performance? Like, didn't he start performance like 7 minutes ago?
Their clan is one of your friends that's up in the mountains.
Okay, now he's talking about story. We don't need that.
Up. That's fascinating. I want to see that. Over here is like a city in the far distance. I wonder what's over there. There's a fortress right there. It's about seeing those things and wanting to explore them. The story is broadly to get you in this area, but it's not like, it's just not going to be Witcher 3 or Red Dead years. Far and away. One of the best games ever made across the board. But they're not on the sidelines waiting for that. You're just, even the best line that I did was motion captured. Even little segments like this, which don't go into dedicated cuts. The guy got his cow stolen. That you just don't see in a lot of big open world games from big publishers, and we've seen with the likes of like AC Shadows or even out on some preview impressions. You might be able to see in their gameplay. It's like, that's a tutorial puzzle. Why are you still stuck on it? It was. You'll see that they're actually shifting their weight and moving as they stand up there. Again, they could have just had them stand static or not put them up there, but they did it because it's just a flex. They're like, yeah, we can. And so when it comes to the story, I'm going to be real. I was like thoroughly impressed by so much of what I saw. While I don't think it's going to be a narrative heavy game, what narrative is here is really well executed. And
wow, he's the first one to really say that the narrative's good. I have not heard someone say that they liked it. Crazy Gaming played the preview and covered it. Have you checked him out? Yeah, I actually thought he had a really good video. I did like him.
Really well done. And the attention to detail and effort they've put into all sorts of
We'll skip that.
Trying to clean their chimney. But I wouldn't expect anything super deep, and there's not. This is actually how like certain characters in the game can send you messages. Is they'll send a little bird with like
bird, he meshes,
from the devs to teach you to use an arrow, light it in a brazier, and ignite the vines on fire to burn it down.
We've seen that.
Affected by this clever way of using the like what other systems can intertwine with each other. You may recall that in one of the trailer clips there was this snippet where they showed using
we heard that.
He flew all the way up. Use that here, and sure enough they can use it. And I'm sure there's 3 other things that they could have done to get past that challenge, but that's why some people are going to love this game, and I think other people are going to bash their head against the wall. Some people love the dynamism in a game like,
you know what, for those vines on the tower, I wonder if you can just equip the fire element and like do a charged attack and kill the vines too. I'm sure that's a third way you could do it.
Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom. Other don't go to do. This is not that kind of game. It's like individual button presses and prompts to do certain moves, because I don't want there to be any question about what they're doing here. I've seen some people wonder if it's going to be super bare bones and basic, if there's going to be no depth. That is not the case. The first thing is that the combat system is based on the principle of light and heavy attacks. As you would expect, R1 is light, R2 is heavy. You can actually hold down the button to chain attacks for each of those. So if you hold down R1, he will chain together light attacks. If you hold down R2, he will chain together heavy attacks. Each of these is different for the type of weapon you have equipped, so don't expect like a dual-handed axe to behave or be used the same way as a dual-handed greatsword or as a short sword. They each have their own specific animations, abilities, and move sets. In addition to that, there's other things like holding down L2 to shoot an arrow, L1 to block, or perfect deflect if you time it properly.
It was actually him who talked about enemies physically dropping gear from damage. Yeah, I thought that it broke their armor, but I didn't know we could pick it up, and I didn't know that it was equipable and stuff.
You can also use something like pressing R3 to do a bit of a force push to push enemies back. There's other creative
But thanks for sharing again.
solutions you can come up with as well, such as chopping down a tree before the fight starts, picking it up and slamming it into a boss or into a group of enemies to kill them all at one time. But the real nuance comes from the special abilities. These are abilities specifically unlocked in the skill tree, and they combine light attacks with other modifiers. I'm sure there's more than this, but the 2 that I primarily used were combined.
I think he's actually keeping it very general, like basic. Not really. I don't know if we're going to get much out of him.
R1 and trying sort of R3 to do a force push down to basically give you a double jump, and then slamming down with a heavy attack, and then you chain it back together with a sweeping attack with R1 and circle. It's the chaining together of combos where the game's combat really started to sing, for me at least. And when you combine it with other abilities like that light deflection thing I mentioned, using the sword to actually deflect light onto enemies, which blinds them, stunning them effectively, that's when you get into the flow of like this dance of combat where it's attack, 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 blind weapon that you have. So at the beginning of the game, you're given a short sword and a shield. Around the city, on the side of the road, I found a dual-handed greatsword leaning against a tree. I picked it up, equipped it, swapped, and right there,
we heard that story earlier,
which is cool. You can also use abilities to like slow time as well. Like again, there's just, once you get him down to 0, you'll see a seamless transition into a cutscene. Looks like that Souls-like game or Souls like Dark Souls ripoff or something, where it's just R1 light attack, R2 heavy, maybe a special effect. The fact that they can just button mash R1 until their heart's content and get access to until you've actually
I love this part,
acquiring their abilities
in the actual boss video where just every one of the goblins just came up and just stabbed the old leader.
Move sets and things. For example, after you defeat the Horn Splitter, you actually unlock his roll evade ability, which you don't get access to until you've defeated him, which is a reason to do the boss fights because it actually unlocks abilities you didn't have.
Okay. The video is, it's actually him. The video is titled Crimson Desert Gameplay Looks Insane, Dragon's Dogma Combat and Open World Details. Yeah, so these are the ones we already went through. Let's see if I have that one. So transition back to me. We go to this. Transition this. So, which one? Is it one of those thumbnails? Looks insane. Do we have that one? I don't see insane, but I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure we covered him. I don't know though. Either way, back to game. Back to the show.
Before. But I think the important thing to note is that once more, this is a game that does not hold your hand. It's not to that. It's like, hello, you like the complexity and you don't thing where you can apply specific status effects to. You don't have footage of this because again it's a meta effects for your weapons, so you can apply like fire damage to them. I don't have footage of this because again it's a late game thing where you can apply specific status effects to your weapons. It's really cool when it is working. I saw it in action in that end game save file against the boss there, and I also got to use it in the combat demo from Summer Games Fest 2025 where I was able to apply fire damage onto my weapons to specifically harm enemies who are weak to that. And lastly, you can also heal using items and specifically food that you've cooked back at your settlement or in a city. You can also buy meals from vendors if you prefer to go that route, but it's how you heal. It's not like a flask that replenishes automatically.
Oh, there we go. So we get recipes for these pan-fried rice cakes, 5 silver. I wonder if that's really beneficial. Either way, I'll be buying recipes most likely.
You actually need to put effort into collecting healing items for your adventure. But overall, I thought the combat was really, really solid. It took a while to experiment with the combat against 3 different boss fights. One was against this Knight Matthias who challenged this fight that you you know,
heard this.
For other people. And one was really cool. It was a really good boss. The subtitle was like, oh, major spoilers. I heard him say it and I was reading the subtitle. I was like, oh.
Yep. Okay.
We were trying the end game in. So people in that room when we were doing the end game boss fight testing. This is actually the room we were trying the end game in. So you can see I've got Luality next to me as well. I had other players off to my left. I don't know if they want me saying who they were, so I won't. I'll let them tell their story. But what I will say is that there were people around me who were either running into like bugs with that last puzzle or were struggling to get through the boss fights.
He's calling out the people who sit next to him. Lol. Yikes.
So they just were needing a shakeup. So one of the devs came over and allowed like Lua, for example, to go and boot up into a save file to allow her to ride a dragon and fly it around, which was cool. I was only super jealous.
Yeah, Luke doesn't reveal too much. Did you watch Bruce Green's video? Yes, for 3 hours, and you just get to see everything. I did. I totally watched it. And now I'm kind of afraid that it might get taken down. I might like try and download his video real quick so I can go through that one again. That was probably the most useful. And I watched it at the beginning, so then it's making all of these other first impressions just kind of feel like I'm a lot of repetition. But It is whatever. Loner Gamer. This is the game I'm expecting a really good experience. Do I expect it to be perfect? No, but I will definitely sink hundreds of hours into it. Most definitely. I think that's what we're all feeling right here. And then Rhea Summers. I'm confident I'm going to enjoy this game. I cannot wait. Yeah. Let's get it.
But she flew around.
Oh, and the thumbnail was the dragon flying around. Okay.
And in the most classic luality way possible, she flew the dragon, breathed fire down onto a city, caused much sending fireballs down to kill all these people, and then she just leaps off against like a circus boss.
We know that
so much. You only level up however you want. So if you want to use like the force, straightforward and very open end.
So like there's this aerial roll. I really wonder what the aerial combat's going to be, because I assume that's what the aerial roll would be good for. Is there's going to be some like getting shot at projectiles in midair. So super pumped for that. And he did unlock the second fly, so that's cool.
They actually let you level up however you want. So if you want to use like the force push ability, you can just level that up. Other things that
I don't know if you guys saw the one by, who was it? Deckless? So, no, Dickless? the guy who did the skill breakdown. That was one of my favorite videos I've seen so far too. Really good one. I think Wolf showed that one. King Wolf did. But yeah, definitely something to do. Loner Gamer, same. I just beat Neo 3 Thursday night, and now I don't know what to play because I'm waiting for this. Yeah, there's a good wait. Good wait ahead of you.
I just did not get the chance to experiment with or see. For example, some of the late game stuff that we saw where like, you know, there was dynamic pricing at vendor shops where you could build a settlement.
Yeah, the dynamic pricing, I'm really excited to see what that is too.
And assign people to go work at the settlement and like complete building projects. We didn't see any of that stuff because we just didn't reach that point. Even with 6.5 hours in the game, there's still so much we haven't seen because the game is just that. Quality of life improvements, like the ability while I'm standing on this platform floating up into the sky islands, the fact that I can just tap on the touchpad on the PlayStation controller to switch into first person view.
Yep.
I was thoroughly impressed with my time with Crimson Desert. It is everything it appears to be. I am more worried about, to be perfectly honest, because I did run into bugs personally. While I didn't have performance issues, I did run into bugs with puzzles and stuff, which can be frustrating, especially when you're doing a puzzle. They did have a long list of things that they knew about that were going to be fixed at launch. The specific issues I ran into, they did not have on that list as far as I'm aware, but hopefully they are fixed by the time the game launches. But even then, if that was like, that's what's going on, is that the late game Sky Island stuff is maybe still a little bit buggy, and they've put most of their efforts in polishing as making a massive game that's really fun and interesting and single issue like that, which was surprising because I'm usually a bug magnet. You guys know I basically couldn't finish Avowed without the developers like working their asses off to try and find why my game was broken. And the average player experience will be super polished. I genuinely don't know, and we won't know until the game launches.
I also hate when people don't put chapters. So
all I can do is report what I experienced, and what I experienced was a very polished game with very few bugs, except in the end game, and even those bugs were easily workaround down for a lot of players. And for me, I had fun. I told Will Powers at the end of the event, I was like, yeah, we just played the game for 6+ hours. If you gave me the opportunity right now to skip dinner and play another 6 hours, I would. And if I were at home reviewing it or something, I would. Being to do a Skull preview thing on a Discord call, basically. Preview for Skull and Bones. And we all know how Skull and Bones ended up, right? But at the time, nobody really knew what it was. And so I was at this little preview thing on a Discord call.
Yeah, I love Skull and Bones, guys. Like, I don't know why there was so much hate. It was a good game. I thought it was kind of cool. There were some parts that were very like grindy and they took a long time to get across the ocean, but I thought it was a pretty cool game.
Basically with like 3 other creators and then 3 staff members working on like marketing the game. And we're playing it and we went through like 3 quests and missions or whatever. We're already running out of stuff. They gave us like 5 hours to try it. After 90 minutes, we're kind of done. And I remember the call just going kind of silent when it's on the mission select screen. One of the Skull and Bones guys like, so you guys want to do that again? Or?
Oof. That's pretty rough.
And the call just stayed silent like for a solid 30 seconds. Nobody wanted to say anything because everybody's like, we have to be here for the full 5 hours. Real technical or performance issues?
Yeah, I can't believe he's saying that too. Like, that's still Ubisoft. They're still pretty big, and I know I still get campaigns from them all the time. So for him to just be like that, I mean, maybe Ubisoft doesn't pay big content creators at all anymore. I don't know. But what do we got from here? I heard some dudes on the ground in like the heavy science area have rockets and stuff. That'd be very interesting. Dantix. Yes, Dantix. Yeah, really good video from him. And there are other flying enemies. Yeah. Oh, that's what you're saying. The heavy science have rockets and stuff. So maybe even just getting into their region, like there's gonna be anti-air shooting at us. That'd be crazy. So there are enemies that can shoot you out of the sky. Loner gamer, higher tech areas. It makes me wonder if the fortress don't have some anti-air weapon. Boom, there it is. Yep.
Maybe I'm the lucky one. Maybe everybody else is going to be more like me. I don't know. But either way, I had a really good time where and even the whole thing, but the microphone wasn't working. So it wouldn't have to sift through like 2 minutes of silence. And then I professional, it's seamless, and you enjoyed it. Make sure to subscribe for more coverage.
Yeah, he talks a lot. Okay, we also have this GameSpot one. I don't know if this was one that I'd seen or not. We'll see. I don't know if they actually got new footage. I don't know if they were there or what, but this just went live a couple hours ago. It was like right as I was setting up the stream.
From its rich world to the dizzying amount of
From its rich world. Man, I guess I need to work on my intros. Maybe my intros are not good enough.
different combat options on offer, here's everything to know about Crimson Desert. Crimson Desert is set in the world of Pywell, composed of numerous different regions. From the northernmost territory of Payloon come the Greymanes, a faction of peacekeeping mercenaries that have been disbanded by an antagonistic force known as the Black
we know the story.
Bears,
Plot,
plunging
let's skip that. Development.
latest game from the studio Pearl, a world story with an upgraded instances with elements.
See, this stuff
is built with an upgraded version of Pearl Abyss's
That's
Black
old,
Space
right?
engine, unlike game engines such as
Hey, there's your wolf. There's your wolf. King Wolf. Hey.
Unreal that are built to be used to develop a plethora of different experiences. The Black Space engine is designed with the specific perceivable loading of assets, systemic water with is seemingly
Okay, this is like not new content. They literally just made another video showing off all their stuff. They're just trying to like jump on the trend of all the first impressions, I'm guessing.
Crimson Desert are used area of effect being performed for traverse characters.
Yep. Okay, we're not watching that. All right, so that's it. I think we got some Nick G stuff to check out. He's got a couple videos I haven't seen yet, but everyone, I think I'm gonna call it there. It's 11:40. I'm really excited for this. I'm gonna be working on a video. Hopefully, we'll drop it tomorrow or Monday or Tuesday, where we'll kind of go over all of the tips and stuff that I saw. But yeah, we went over all of these videos, which is pretty cool. And I'll get rid of that so you can see. We could chat one last time before I head off. But it's gonna be a really, really exciting time. I think there was a lot I got from all of these, though. Like I'm feeling like I played the 6-hour session. Really, I do want to check out that. What is it, Bruce? What was his thing? Do I have? No, I didn't watch it on this channel, so I don't have it in my history. What was it? Bruce, first impressions. What was his second name? I know someone mentioned it just a second ago. Bruce. Oh wait, shit. Crimson Desert. Bruce, first impressions. There it is, right there. Bruce Green. This. I need to download this video real quick. Be able to download that. I don't have premium on this. Okay, I'll figure that out in a sec. But oh yeah, you guys don't even see what I'm looking at. Lol. I would say if you guys haven't, go watch this video. It's actually pretty crazy. I mean, obviously there's some huge spoilers here, so if you don't like the spoilers, don't. But I mean, he literally dropped like the 3 hours of his entire thing. Really interesting. He's just doing his live stream at the same time. But yeah, I would definitely check that out. But anyways, that's all we got, guys. That's all we got. Thanks for joining. I'll mention this again. Yeah, Bruce Green. Thanks, Rhea, for saying that. Michael W. Stream. Thank you so much. Yeah. Well, there are magic users too. In monsters and other enemies with projectile attacks. Yeah, for flying the dash rolls. I want to see the new footage and hear more about the minute details. It's all about the vibes and level of energy. Though on my new current channel, I no long do bombastic intros. Instead, I make an anime style channel opening. Rhea, I'll have to check out your channel. I don't know why I haven't yet already. I'll definitely check that out. But King Ghost, thank you for the stream. Thank you for always being here. It's awesome. 07. I don't know what that means. I'm guessing that's positive. I know it's something. You guys need to catch me up on some of these things. What does '07 mean? '07 in stream slang. What does that mean? Salute. Yes. I knew it was something. I forgot what it was, but awesome. Well, Kensu, thanks for also watching for a little time. We will see you guys soon. Everyone, thanks. We have 21 people on the YouTube. Thank you guys. 1 on the Twitch, and that's after the crash stream too. I imagine we would have hit 50 again. Yesterday was so awesome seeing 50 people. Let's keep growing. Thanks again, guys. Everyone, you have a great day. Caveman, logging out.